new canvas, even though it only gives you a few options here, you can manually type in whatever resolution you want. So if you want to stream in like a square aspect ratio for whatever reason, because you think you're fancy like that, you think you're better than me because you got those old fat TVs that are square, yeah, there's nothing stopping you. Keep in mind, this is a direct multi-streaming plugin. This isn't a service like Restream.io. You will need faster internet the more platforms you want to stream to. However, just because you're streaming to 2 or 3 platforms, that doesn't necessarily mean your computer needs to do 2 or 3 times more work. If you only want to have one canvas and you want to stream that singular canvas to Twitch and YouTube, well, then your computer is only rendering and encoding a single stream. It's just uploading it twice. So it shouldn't impact the performance of your computer in any meaningful way, but you will need double the internet to do that. But as soon as you start adding more than one canvas, yeah, then your computer is gonna do more work. So just keep that in mind. Now, what about audio? Let's just say you don't care about following the law and you want to play copyrighted music on Twitch, but on YouTube, since YouTube is way more strict about copyright there, you don't want any of your music going to YouTube. Well, in the settings, you can decide which audio track each platform receives. So if you set up multi-track audio in OBS and let's just say you've decided track 2, you want to omit any copyrighted music, you can just select in the drop-down menu the audio track that you want just for YouTube. So that pretty much covers all you need to know about setting up your multi-stream. What about reading chat? I know a lot of you have been looking for a way to combine chats together, and there are some good options out there, but this is the only plugin that has multi-chat built into it. If you click Stream Elements, SE Live Docs, Multi-Chat, you can see all your Twitch and your YouTube messages in a single window. Unfortunately, it doesn't support TikTok right now. Apparently, Stream Elements told me that it's something that they're working on. They just don't have an ETA or even a guarantee that they can even get it working. So in the meantime, if you do need to read TikTok chat, they have a separate chat doc just for TikTok. One thing I would like to see in this doc, right now it's read only. So you don't have a way to type back to your audience. So I'd like to see them add that in the future, because as a streamer, you often have like moderator commands that you quickly type in the Twitch chat, and you don't really have a way of doing that here. It's not perfect. There are some legitimate grievances that I have with the plugin. For one, it did crash a lot of times for me. I'm not gonna harp on it too much because it was in beta for the majority of the time that I was testing it out, but Stream Elements did fix most of the crashes that I was having. Just be aware, this is a new plugin, so I really wouldn't recommend that you mess around with your settings or your layout while you've already gone live. You don't want your OBS crashing in the middle of your stream. The crashing I can forgive. I have like over 100 scenes in OBS, so it's probably my fault. The biggest deal breaker I've found is, as of right now, you have very little control over your encoder settings for your extra canvases. Pretty much the only thing you can change right now is the encoder itself. That's it. You can't change what preset you're using, can't change your keyframes, you can't even set your bitrate. That's insane. I have no idea what bitrate I'm streaming at when I stream to YouTube Shorts because it just doesn't let me set it. I get that this is a beta or the plugin just came out or whatever, but you gotta let us change our bitrate, okay? The bitrate is like the one setting that almost every streamer is gonna want to adjust, and you gotta give us some flexibility there. Now, Stream Elements did say that they are working on adding that feature. However, one thing that they did tell me that they will not support is they will not allow you to stream at different quality settings for the same canvas. On ATEM, if you want to stream at 4K on YouTube but 1080p on Twitch, you can do that. With this plugin, Stream Elements has said that they don't have any plans to support that at all. And I was not happy about that. I did throw a little bit of like a temper tantrum over on my Twitch stream, and we kind of like bullied the devs into reversing that decision. So it looks like we may have changed their mind, but I do feel very strongly about this. We should be able to decide what encoding settings we use per platform, even if it's the same canvas. No support for scene transitions yet either. All you get is this one ugly cut transition. There isn't even a fade option. It also doesn't look like they have replay buffers. 8th Vertical has this really popular feature called Backtrack that essentially lets you retroactively record the last whatever seconds of gameplay. So the idea is if you get a sick kill and you want to highlight that for TikTok, you hit one hotkey in your keyboard and it goes back and saves that highlight automatically. SE Live doesn't have that feature, so I know that's gonna upset a lot of people because that was a really popular feature on 8th Vertical, so hopefully Stream Elements can add that in. And my final complaint is that arranging your scene layouts on those extra canvases is not quite the same as the regular OBS canvas. Adding sources is a little bit more sluggish. You're gonna see this awaiting screen every time you add a source, which gets really annoying after a while. These options here to center your sources don't seem to be working right now either. So if you're used to getting perfectly centered, pixel perfect layouts, it's gonna be a little harder here. 8th Vertical also had this problem, so that's whatever, but the problem seems to be a little bit worse here. All those complaints aside, I do really like this plugin, and I do plan on using it to multi-stream to Twitch and YouTube for the foreseeable future. So if you want to ask me how it's going, you can come pop by my Twitch stream. I do stream every whatever two times a week, okay? Over on Twitch, over on YouTube, so if you subscribe, you should get notifications for it. If you want to come by my stream and be like, hey, Nutty Dude, bro, how's like streaming and SE Live, bro? You can come ask me there. Honestly, the thing that I love most about this plugin compared to all the other plugins is that little menu that pops up every time you hit start streaming. It saves me from having to add like 80 billion docs into OBS just to set my stream titles, on top of also acting like a security thing so I don't accidentally hit start streaming on accident. I hope Stream Elements can add those extra fields so that we can add our thumbnails and playlists. But for right now, this is what I'll be using to multi-stream going forward.
Without the ones like you working tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. No matter your industry, Grainger's here for you with professional-grade supplies. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.